Alright, so I don't have any more of this style non-insulated butt connectors. All I have are the insulated ones, and I can't have like how many, like 8 or 10 of those little guys all stacked up on the harness. This is a harness that came with the new car, and there's so much like patch, or not even patch wire, just as it looks like the car tire rubbed through the harness, and someone just like literally just taped it up. So yeah, if I had like all those little butt connectors all stacked over here, the harness would be like really chunky and not as flexible. So I'm taking out that little insert, or the crimp part, out of the insulated part to make it a little bit cleaner, and then just putting shrink wrap over it, or heat shrink tubing. There you go. And all these guys are all emptied out. Alright, so the patchwork is done. I did maybe like 10 different wires that I had to patch up. This is the part that hangs over one of the wheels, and yeah, I'm pretty sure it was sagging down at one point, and it just started chewing through a lot of these wires. But yeah, they're all patched up as far as I can tell. This is pretty much, they look like this. They were all taped up. But yeah, underneath, all the wires look like that. Yep. And yeah, a lot of that section was just all taped up. But yeah, so that was the main reason to take the harness out of the car, to patch that up. And also I've been wanting to remove the stock fan relays, because I have the Adaptronic ECU and it controls its own separate relay that we set up, so I don't need these things just hanging out doing nothing. All four of those guys. That got taken out with all of the wiring, as well as the ABS stuff. I have the ABS delete kit, so it gets rid of all of that. No point in having the sensors chilling in there, since I'm not using them for anything right now. Maybe when I get started racing, it might become an issue, but as far as right now, no need to have it. That's taken out, as well as the airbag stuff, but that was on a separate harness. But yeah, all those airbag sensors and wiring is all taken out. Now I just gotta take it back to the car, and I'm gonna figure out the routing to route it a little bit cleaner so it's not visible as much. And I'm gonna wrap the harness with some friction tape. I guess what 3M calls it, but it's just like, it's like cloth tape basically. It's for harnesses for electrical wiring to prevent like chafing and stuff like that. I'm not gonna use this on it anymore. Hopefully it's a little bit cleaner look and can hide away a little bit. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm done with the harness for now. Just gotta take it back over there and see how I want to route it. Alright, quick update on the harness situation. Right now I'm still laying it out, how I'm gonna route it. Still not wrapped up. I'll wrap it up after I'm done with all the routing. I found a couple more connectors that I don't need to have in the engine bay. They can just tape up out of the way. It's like map sensor. I don't have any more. It's on the ECM. This is for the cruise control that I never used, and this is for like the fuel OEM fuel pump setup that is for this thing that it's not being used anymore since I have the upgraded fuel pump with its own relay. So everything seems to be laying in place pretty nice. I just finished deep pinning all of these relay pins and fuses so I can keep the fuse box that was in the old car, which was in better condition. You can see that tab right there intact, and the old one, so it's all like JB welded and like cracked. So yeah, I swapped that over. This relay box is gonna go like out here. It's gonna be behind and underneath the front bumper. It's gonna be cool. The passenger side harness is like really thin now. There's only one connector that goes in there to that hole and to the, what's it called, the wiper motor. You used to have like 3 or 4 other connectors hanging out there for the ABS module, which I don't have anymore. And this is where the airbag stuff came out through. It's just siliconed and zip tied, so no water goes in there. Same thing on the driver's side. And I wasn't gonna take this out because I was being lazy, but I just did it right now when I was in the car and I was about to plug everything back in to the fuse box underneath the steering wheel. So this is the rest of the airbags, the wiring and diagnostic module or something for it. Hopefully that's what that was. But yeah, it has all the airbag connectors. It's pretty much all it is, all this blue wire. And inside the car, that's where the airbag stuff was taped to. Inside of this loom, I'm gonna clean that up in a little bit. Couple connectors that were hooked up to it that I labeled so I don't stress over trying to figure out what they are later on. And I don't know, I was fucking around with the moonroof, sunroof, whatever. I never opened it, so I guess there's a little socket or a up there. You can put an Allen key in there and you can manually open the sunroof, which is kind of cool since I don't have the buttons for it right now. But yeah, so yeah, the inside's almost there, almost ready to go back together. And for the driver's side, I only have 3 connectors in here now. Just the one for the signal to the ignition coils that are going to be bolted up in this location right here. And this is, I forgot what this was, but it's part of the ignition, the resistor or something. And just a brake fluid level sensor. That's about it. Before, all this used to be over there. So, yep. Time to start wrapping this up, I think. Alright, so it's time to start the interior work now. I gotta pull the gauges out, the hood, this hood. Hopefully I don't break it, because I know they break really easy. All the plastic trim and all that stuff, and the pedals too. And make sure I remember or write down where all this wiring and shit goes. So let's see, the old car, or the new one, my bad. That's the old one. This is all the stuff that's going into the new car. Got the seats out. This thing. Oh yeah, both cars are on the ground now. So that's pretty much how I'm gonna leave the other car, or what I need to get to before I can start switching things over. Actually, the brake pedal is supposed to come out too. Or yeah, it's already out. So yep, gotta get to this stage. Already cleaned the floor a little bit on this side, and that one's storage for now. But yep. Alright, so fast forward a week. I got 3 days to work on these things. I haven't been out here, it's just like pretty crappy weather to be outdoors working on these. It's been raining, but this is where I left off the other day. Most of the plastic stuff is out. Gauge, cluster, hood, AC, switches and all that stuff. So today's plan is to get the dashboard out, pedal assemblies, figure out the wiring for the gauges, make sure I can remember for the other car, or maybe I want to reroute it or something. But yeah, these next 3 days I'm gonna try and get the car started if I don't run into any weird issues. And since I haven't been out here, I ordered a lot of stuff, Mazda tricks, a lot of stuff I want to replace here since I haven't been running heater on the old car. Got a lot of the heater lines, the shifter boot kit, all this stuff, the hood release cable, and the intake manifold gasket, the plenum gasket, whatever, that one. Got Redline MT90, trans fluid, some water wetter from Summit Racing. All this stuff came from Summit, at least this box. And I wasn't running a circuit breaker on the last car, just had a big ass fuse. So I'm gonna try and run this, and that'll come in handy when I wanna disconnect power to the car. Really easy. And yep, I'm also gonna redo the battery relocation I'm gonna go with 2-gauge battery cable. I was gonna go with welding wire or welding cable, but this one's a little bit better quality. It's actually rated for like automotive use to be like around grease and oil and all that kind of stuff. What's it called? Heat shrink tube with what's it called? The sealant inside when you heat it up. Can't really see it, but yeah, it's got that glue inside. And all the lugs, terminals. So yeah, it's gonna be a different beast when I'm done with it. So yeah, first things first, let's get the dashboard out. Alright, I think it's ready to come out. Where I'm gonna put it when I take it out, I don't know. Anything hanging up? Alright, steering column's out of the old car. Almost ready to go back into the new car. Dashboards, they're out, labeled. There's all the stuff from the new car that I'm not gonna use. I'm gonna put my lower mileage stuff from the old car into the new one. So right now they're both in just about the same condition as far as being torn apart. Yeah, if somebody saw this, how they are right now, I'm pretty sure they'd get overwhelmed with how much work is left. But yeah, once I got that dashboard out, I knew we were on the downhill side. So right now I'm fucking super excited. I see the light at the end of the tunnel. Almost there. Just showing you the layout of how I have everything. So when they're running, you'll be like, damn, they came a long way. Alright, so I'm getting the dashboard ready to go in. First though, I had to put in it's called all the blend doors and heater core. And I also put new, like, what's it called? That foam tape on there because the old stuff was like turning into powder already. So I just cleaned that and made sure everything is hooked up. Now we just gotta do the vents on the dashboards. So on the old car, I took out these like window defroster vents. So I gotta transfer them over from that dashboard onto the good one that actually was already on my old car. And I'm gonna also reseal yeah, you can see right here, that foam tape. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. So the dashboard is sitting in place now. That's, I think, as far as I got with the dashboard setup. I had to do some other stuff before then. And I did a lot of the engine stuff. Like ignition coils are set up. The V-mount is kind of just sitting in place right now. A lot of the stuff is hooked up now. Like the belts are on, vacuum lines are ran, harness is routed into the grommet, into the firewall. And I got my turblown heater core line. It's modified from the OEM version to be able to go around like the bigger turbos. So yeah, just gotta pull like a bracket, like one of these, so it doesn't rattle around. But yeah, all the heater core stuff is routed. Oil coolers are solid mounted now. Just the front rebar is not on yet. I think the Saki Bomb instructions say to cut this little ear off for the 99 spec bumper, so I gotta do that next time. But other than that, most of this thing is set up. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, I used one of those connectors already for the fan relay. Before it was just like had like some weird like bullet connectors, so now it's got actual plug. And now, since I'm probably gonna take off already, I'm gonna silicone, what's it called, the shifter turret. I'm gonna silicone it in place, let it dry, and then fill up the turret with some oil, some trans fluid. And the next time I'm out here, I'll probably grease the shifter ball, put it in place. I also replaced that boot that was completely torn, and hopefully this works. But I think one more day out here and I can probably get this thing running already. Alright, so it's 8 p.m. now. I started at 11 a.m. this morning. Dashboard is in. Steering column's loosely mounted. I didn't finish the dashboard today because I have to sneak the carpet underneath that little gap. So I'm gonna bring that next time I'm out here. Lift up the dash a little bit and then secure it once I got the carpet sitting in there. But yeah,